me, Jessica Cameron. Welcome to Scream Queen Stream, and we're back with
Raynor Shima. And yo, you're not Jessica, what the hell?
Yes, I am. I am blonde and I have blue eyes. Okay?
Oh my god.
Link down below.
Gigi, what are you doing?
Oh, I was just saying that people should watch this show.
Oh my god.
Now, so far we've talked about your collaborations with Gigi and the team. That being said, you work with other people.
I do.
So we should talk about that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. I don't think I'm going to love them as much as I love Gigi. But no shade, no tea. I'm a big supporter of independent films, so I'd love to know who else you're working with.
Yeah,
and
no.
other stuff that you have going on currently. Also, if there's another project since the movie that I can't pronounce now, like aside from, I know you guys did just finish another short, and I believe it's doing the festival rounds, or it just did.
The Call just won.
The call was the one that we just did last year as well. So besides not just working with, Luchagore and stuff like that, I think one of my goals too is, to find, obviously new talent that we can also bring on board for directors and stuff like that, and expand our company and expand our name. But it's also, again, finding people that have that voice and that vision that, again, as a producer, I can work with and collaborate, not just stay micromanage, but I want to be able to help them get them where they need to be as well, just like what Gigi and myself have done together, right? And really believing in her and her projects and her ideas and her vision, even though she would always fight me on everything. But not everything. But we had our quarrels. It was funny. But yeah, so one of the directors I'm working with on right now, his name's Jeremy Letter, and he's done some amazing content throughout his time as filmmaking. And this is the guy that, again, didn't go to film school, self-taught himself, did his research. He just kept making short films and kept growing with it. And a lot of his stuff has been traveled all over the world. One of his most successful films that he made was actually called Joanna Makes a Friend, and that's one of the projects that I'm working with him on right now. It's basically a kid's coming of age movie that I feel like it needs to be made, and he kind of gave up on it, and I was like, I'm the one that kind of opened Pandora's box for him, as he says. Just he's like, I gave up on this thing a long time ago. Why are you making me come out? I said it's 2019, man. I'm like, we got to get this back in here somehow, some way. I feel that this idea that you and his writer had needs to be kind of brought back to life again. So, as my job as a producer too is to really find the belief in these scripts and say, can we make this? Is it marketable? Is it something that we can take with us to LA or Vancouver or Toronto or anywhere that we can find it's a home or in the right hands of people is something that we've been definitely actively trying to do. But I definitely love to work with new people, and again, it's about finding that relationship bonding with anybody you kind of first meet, and you got to work with them a little bit to really understand if you can continue this. And so I'm slowly opening my doors to that as much as I can, and looking to see what other talent there is, and then really bring them on board with all of our stuff as well. So yeah.
So, what projects do you have coming up that you're most excited about? For
the people that have seen La Quinceañera, we actually are finished writing the season 2 script for La Quinceañera, and we're really excited about where that's going to take it. I'm really excited if we do make it. I'm hoping that's going to move on. We're going to find out pretty quick on it. But that's one of the bigger ones that we're excited to go back and revisit Alejandra and the rest of the remaining family that's still in the show. Was something that it was our big baby then when we first got it, right? We're really excited about that one. And then I have a couple other features that we got in the works that we're developing. I'm actually heading this year again to the Frontiers Market with a project called We Came From the Sea. As Jessica was saying, it's very hard to get into. We actually tried last year with another project of ours with Gigi and myself, and we actually did not get accepted. But we ended up going down as industry professionals because it's a great market to attend and a great networking environment.
I love that you mentioned that, because I love the fact that I feel like oftentimes when you're on a good streak or when it looks to the public that you're on a streak, like, you're playing festivals, people think that everything's super easy. I have found that the more success you have, the harder everything gets.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
you also, like, your standard of what you expect becomes higher, so that also gets harder to reach. But I also just find, like, there's not a lot of shortcuts when you don't have money. Like, I think if you have, like, if you're inherit money, I think everything gets easier. But short of that, I don't think it gets a lot easier.
No.
And I think things like that where I think there's probably people that would assume because you've gotten in before, because Gigi is, like, really hot right now, because all of these factors that, of course, you would automatically be grandfathered in. And the fact that you're not, I don't know about you, it also makes me respect and want to support that festival and that market all the more.
Mm-hmm.
And also the other thing that I look at, it doesn't mean the project wasn't good, it just wasn't a good fit.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like,
exactly.
people take things so personally, and I'm like, it's not like they're insulting your mother.
No. And they plan very well and choose the projects very well onto, how they feel, they can give the right voice to these projects. And they only chose 20, right?
Yep.
We're the only people from
get,
British Columbia, Canada, going there. We're the only people from the West Coast. Yeah.
Who's the director on that project?
Jeremy.
Gotcha.
Jeremy
Awesome.
Letter. Jeremy Letter is the one on it. So him and me will be going down. We'll be pitching our heart outs once again. Trying to sell the project, but it's something that this is the process you want to do. There's tons of markets that you can go to pitch your film, and you don't just need to go to a distributor or financier. You have these places where you can pitch, and if you have all these industry people within, somebody will eventually maybe look at it and be like, okay, I see the potential in this, right? And not to always say you're always going to get finance, and that doesn't always happen, but I think the biggest thing to come out of it is meeting those connections with people.
Of course.
I think one of the biggest things I found is that for the years I have gone down there, and this will be our second time pitching, but I've gone down there a few more times before that, and I've met the same people over and over again. But it's just like I've gotten to know them now, before at the beginning. So I'm hoping eventually at one point it's like they know me well enough that we can work together, right? Instead of just off first impressions. They've seen me continually over the years pursuing what I'm doing, and they say, okay, well, if this guy is really adamant about producing something, let's see what we can do, kind of thing, right? You just never know what the opportunity may arise, I think.
When I always say you want to have a relationship ideally with someone before you ask them for a favor.
Exactly.
Right? Too many times I find people in LA often don't get that, where it's like you just meet someone, they're like, here's what you could do for me, and it's like, no, I don't know you.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have enough hours in the day to help out the people that I've known for 10 years who I love. Like, why am I going to help you? And it's like building that relationship, building that rapport, and also setting the standard of, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere, this is what I'm passionate about, I work my ass off to make quality work, hopefully you can join my team, I think is very different than allow you to do me a favor.
Yeah, no, exactly. I don't operate that way either. It's one of those things that you got to keep pushing hard, and hopefully people are going to recognize, right? So it's something that... this project that we're taking to Frontiers, We Came From the Sea, was something that really, really resonated with me, as well as the director and the writer who wrote it. It's really kind of a, not topical story, but it's, really based on addiction, but it's set in a horror setting. And it's something that, I don't really want to give away too much, but we actually do have a short film of it as well. But I wish I could say I could show you guys that right now at the moment, but it is running a festival circuit. So when we do announce, we will post.
Well, I'm sure I'll share a poster.
Yeah.
Whenever I have time.
Actually, I can send you a poster as well. I'll send you a poster for that one.
Poster.
But so it's that's what we're doing right now, and hopefully to keep going, and a bunch of meetings and all that stuff. So typical stuff, as a filmmaker, and just trying to connect and have meetings and seeing what's going on. But I got three big projects hopefully to keep going.
I love that. Now, I'm going to ask some random questions about our conversation, so just bear with me.
Yeah.
Because there are some things that I'm curious about. So my theory is usually, I'm curious, you're probably curious. So what is the number one tip for people doing crowdfunds that you learned after doing a failed campaign and then having one that exceeded your expectations?
Oh, God. So, yeah, I think one of the biggest things is to be very interactive with the people that be getting directed towards your Kickstarter or Indiegogo. I don't know how many other ones there are now, but yeah, mainly those are the two biggest ones. I think you're very straight and poignant to what you are trying to sell or what you're trying to get out of people, And obviously, if your rewards are reasonable enough that they're going to be enticed to, finance it. But I think as a filmmaker, you definitely need to sell yourself, because that's the biggest thing when you go into big pitch meetings is you're really selling yourself. You have to be excited about it. You have to be very, very into it. One of the things that I find with some people, if they're just like, well, it's just this film I want to make. It's about a guy and a girl, and it doesn't entice me. You got to be energetic about it, and really got to sell it, even if it's a small one-liner hook, and with a little bit of a background detail on it. We want to know. We want to be sold. I want to be sold that I want to throw money your way, not just as a filmmaker, but to your film and your story. I think it's something that you need to be really putting that effort into, and again, engaging with the people that are looking on your website, on your Kickstarter page, or whatever funding page that you're on, is to be very engaged and promoting it. And everybody knows and gets flamed with Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, and they're saying, check out my Indiegogo campaign. It can be annoying and it can seem redundant, but it is one of those things. If you get enough people to help share it, you can get more people to look at it, and hopefully drive traffic towards your page. So it's something that we didn't have that at the time. We didn't know that on our first campaign. We were just like, okay, we'll just get it out and see if people come to it, right? And then we realized that you got to self-promote it. You're not going to do it. If you can get websites to help you promote it, or if you know people in your local newspaper to say, hey, these local filmmakers are trying to make this film. Would you consider? Try to direct traffic towards it as much as you can. I don't really know if paid Facebook advertised ads really work too well on it, but
I think paid. Yes,
$5 or $2.
I think that anytime you go into paid advertising, it's a dangerous territory, especially on Facebook. There's actually a bunch of people who just believe that Facebook, rather than engaging in reach, just throws a bunch of fake people on your page, which then decreases your organic reach, which causes you to have to spend more money on advertising. Because it's tricky. It's all this. It's a big picture issue.
Yeah.
But I think nobody should be paying for advertising unless you're on Facebook. You should be on all active pages. Ideally, doing 3 to 5 posts a day. If you're doing a crowdfund campaign, a lot more than that.
Oh yeah.
You should be responding to everything. I usually advise people doing crowdfunds to have at least 2 people working 8 hours a day, 7 days a week for the month of the campaign, 2 weeks prior and 2 weeks after.
Oh yeah.
At least, and that's 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, not 5.
It's
and
a lot of work.
2 people, and that's bare minimum. So that being said, I think if you've already got that doing, then you can play around with advertising. If you're already making properly, formatted posts that are tagging your actors and your crew that are appropriate with high resolution images that are 30%-ish contrast, because that's going to get the highest reach on social media, with some video and some live stream. There's so many other things you can do, I think, before you get to the paid point.
Oh yeah.
Before that's even comes into play.
Yeah, because we haven't really done the Facebook ad stuff too much. But
Facebook is a tricky beast. I don't trust Facebook.
I don't really either. I find it's just it can be wonky and crazy.
That's why I like Twitter. I get the highest reach on my Twitter.
Yeah.
And I find Twitter is just very much if people follow you, they're going to see it. It's going to pop up in their feed. It's not about right now, Facebook, if you have a page, it's going to push out to 2% or less, and depending upon the engagement, which they've never released the numbers on, what is good engagement, what is bad, depending upon that engagement, it'll push out incrementally to the other people.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah. I don't know. The algorithms and all that stuff just mind boggle me. So
last year, YouTube had over 200 algorithm changes that they did not detail, but they posted notice every time they released. Over 200. Yep, and it's speculated that Facebook, Instagram had even more. So that's how rapidly it's changing.
I know, you got to keep up with it. But yeah, even just like I said, it's you should have somebody dedicated if you really are committed to it. Depending on how much money you're looking to,
of course,
raise, right?
$500. I don't think you need that, but
no.
$10,000 and above.
I think. Oh yeah, totally. And again, being on time with your perks and
yes.
rewards. I think if you obviously say, hey, on certain things may take a little bit longer, but you got to be at least in touch with the people and just don't forget about it, because people are gonna want the rewards. And it happened to us. We got bogged down and we forgot 1 or 2 people, and they said, hey, what's going on? And I totally apologize for it, but you don't want to do that. People have given you money and to make your film. You got to be respectful back, and definitely honor what you are offering for them as a perk and reward. So.
I also love that you guys support other Kickstarters. I see you both you and Gigi promoting others. I know for a fact that you've contributed to several that I
We've done a
know
few.
for a fact.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's so nice that you give as well as
you got to give. I think the biggest thing is you got to give back, right? We've had so many people help us out, and we've helped out some of our friends that went on to make their own films, and they got us in the wrong time sometimes, but we finally had a time where okay, we'll help you out. And we can't because we don't have anything to do, which was nice. But I was like, it was a good change of pace for us and to help them out because they have helped us out in so many projects. It was the only thing, really to repay it back. Unless I had, a stack full of cash, a handful of cash. Right? It's like, I'm owing you guys back the time, right? But no, you got to give back too, right? If we're progressing too, it's like, we want to help if we can, as much as we can, to help other people grow. It's just, obviously timing is always got to be crucial, but the more you grow and get busier, it becomes harder. But, I just always try to remember those people that, if we do make something big, I'm going to bring them back. If it's a huge paying gig, I'm going to fight for them to come back. So that's my thing. Like, I want our crew back as much as possible. If we're having to shoot in Vancouver, that's our team. Like, that's who we are. That's what made Luchagore too, as well. It's a lot of the team that has stuck around to this day. So, yeah.
So, what does your family think about your career?
I think as everybody's parents are like, you're taking filmmaking, like, what do you think you're doing? Like, you're gonna make money? I'm just like, okay. I had to kind of like lay it out and said, look, they were supportive. Yeah, at the beginning, they were like, okay, well, you're doing it, like, you gotta try it out. And I said, look, even after film school, it's gonna take some time. Like, I'm not gonna be, a celebrity or, making tons of money right out of school. It's gonna build this time, right? And I think, they were like, okay, well, sure, things are gonna take time, we're gonna learn. I was gonna try to get some jobs and stuff like that. But like, really what we did was we focused on ourselves. We focused on our company and building our own brand, right? So it was like, I was doing some commercial work at the same time, but I was really focused on Luchagore. So I wasn't making a ton of money at the beginning. I was just basically working to, pay rent, pay for food, and pay for our shoots and stuff like that. And my parents were like, are you sure this is the right industry you want to be in? Like, it seemed to me like you're making a lot of money. And I was like, no, like, this is what I want to do. And like, you can't let people deter you away from it, right? But then they started seeing the quality of work we were doing. And they're like, okay, well, you guys are really doing something. Like, you're onto a path, right? And yeah, they just have been super supportive, and they totally understand the process. And I think at 5 years, we did La Quinceañera with Warner Brothers. That was like a 5-year goal. I think that was a really cool, establishment in our career and our time frame to be at that state, right? And some people don't get that opportunity. Everybody has their own path. We have our own path. We kind of sailed our own path of making short films. I think by the time how many short films we made, we probably could have made a feature, but I don't know how good it would have been, right? But again, we just really focused on crafting ourselves as much as we can on each project until we finally got that big one. And really was, okay, let's shine it. Let's do it as, good quality and just, really try to impress as many people as we can because, we actually finally got money. We got studio money to make a film, which was great. And it was a crazy experience to be looking at like how much money we had. We're like, oh my God, it was actually happening, right? I think it was like I think I showed Gigi at one point. I was like, look how much money we got. Obviously it wasn't going to us, it was going towards production, but it was just like, we have the resources, we have the backing.
You're no longer working through the weeks to pay for the weekend shoots.
Yeah, and my parents were they were so excited about that. They were just like, okay, I guess you did do something. So, but they still are, right? They always, my mom always bugs me, like, what's going on next? Why are you going down to LA? Like, what projects do you, she's getting so lost because I have so many things tied into myself now. She's just like, I'll just let me know when it comes out now. Pretty much, are you shooting something? But yeah, they're super supportive.
She can just check your IMDb.
I know. She doesn't, she's too old school for that. But yeah, so yeah, they're, my family, all of my family is actually very supportive. Not just my parents, my aunts and my uncles, my sister. Yeah, they're all seem to understand. So
that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do you think is the biggest difference between Canadian and American independent film scenes? And I know that's a little bit of a big ask because You probably have the most experience at festivals, I would think,
Mhm.
and less like as far as like working here. But I think you get to know the people.
You know what's funny? It's like, because I've talked to, I think, you know, obviously we have some good American friends that, you know, have had some great film successes out here with their shorts, and then obviously our Canadian side. I don't know if it's just like us Vancouver people are really kind of bond together and, you know, really work on supporting each other. But I've had some, you know, that our friends tell us, you know, the people that they've worked with out in the States haven't been the greatest. Some have had hard times of, you know, making their projects be good, and, you know, maybe they're not supporting them as enough. But like, I feel like I kind of get the sense that like everybody out in the States sometimes is out for themselves, but like at the same time, it's not like that, you know.
I like to say that everybody in LA has an ulterior motive. It's just a matter of not whether or not that motive aligns with yours.
Yeah. No, and I find that can be, but I don't think like it's 100% right to say in a sense, right? But I do think that you can find that core group of people that are going to work with you and work within your vision and, you know, help create it, because you know what? They're going to want to work with you again, right? And then not just on one project, hopefully on many more. And if you can definitely, you know, show them that they're important, they're going to come back, just like how it is back in Vancouver and Canada in general. It's like, I think there's a lot of great people that can support you and still continue to support you without expecting something in return. But as long as they see that you're moving on to something forward, and I would hope that if you did move on forward, that you'd still remember those people and bring them back or help them in some way, you know?
I think that's very uncommon in America.
Yeah.
I have not experienced that.
No?
And you'd be shocked at how many times people like beg for a favor, and then you're like, hey, by the way, can I be considered for casting?
And they're like,
you know, you're
no.
finally, you know, paying something. And yeah.
They're like, no. Yeah. See, and that happens out in Vancouver, though.
It does, I feel like Vancouver is such a smaller town. It's like a big city, but like the film world feels
It's
so
small.
much
It's like a small family community.
Yeah,
But so like, if somebody tries to screw you over, you know who it is pretty quick. So.
Yeah, and everybody else does too.
Yeah. Word gets around.
And they're all very Canadian about it. Like, everyone's very PC, but they'll be like, well, I probably won't work with that person again. But.
Exactly.
Now, hold on, I have one more question. Damn it, where was it? Where did it go? Oh. Your best piece of advice for anybody wanting to do what you do now?
Oh, this is my advice that Gigi always uses. I think my biggest advice, and you know, it can be broad, but you know, I always say that, you know, don't be afraid of failure. Don't give up on it. You know, push hard, research. You know, as a producer, it's something that you have to be, you know, that front man for the show, for your director, for everybody, your cast, your crew. You know, there's going to be a lot of things that you're going to have to be problem solving and putting out fires all the time as a producer. I think that's what makes good producers, to be able to, you know, dabble their hands in every aspect of filmmaking and the production on all sides, from screenwriting to prep to production to post-production to wrap. And just knowing as much as you can physically retain when you first start off, but it gradually it sticks with you. Let's just put it that way. And is that, yeah, just don't be overwhelmed by it, and sometimes it can be, but always know that, you know, you're there to finish it and see it throughout. I've never given up on any of the projects that I've done, even though there's been times we felt like we want to. I've always stuck through it, and I've always been pleased at the outcome. And you know, I never want to. You know, we've failed in some of our previous stuff, but like, I don't think that's a failure. It's just I've learned from those mistakes, and I've pushed forward and I've adapted to grow with it, and you know, be a better filmmaker outside of that. So, yeah, just never give up. Don't be afraid of failure.
I love that. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so very much for joining us. This concludes my interview with Raynor Shima. Thank you so very much for joining us. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, yes.
Yes, you did.
Score! Now, obviously, you guys can hit the links down below. You can follow Scream Queen Stream on Facebook, Twitter, and also 10 billion bonus points if you join the Patreon, which is where you can donate a couple of bucks a month and contribute the channel. That being said, where can they find out more about you?
So, my name, Raynor Shima. I guess I can cut that out. Sorry, I don't know why I said that.
No, it's adorable.
Yeah, no, anybody can find me on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm not as vocal on Twitter as much as I should be, but I am on there, and I do.
Do you have a
I do
fan page or
watch.
just a regular page on Facebook?
Just a regular page.
Oh,
on
cool. So
Facebook.
spam his personal page.
Yeah, you can just spam my personal thing. And then also for our company, Luchagore Productions, which is on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook
And
as
YouTube.
well. And YouTube. And also Vimeo as well. Yeah, I'm online somewhere. Somehow, some way, posting something.
And best of luck in all your current
Thank you so
productions.
much.
I cannot wait to see what you do next.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm really excited to share the rest of the world that, what we got going on with Luchagore and what I have outside of that as well. So
Awesome. Thank you.
thank you.